Let's start with an uncomfortable truth. Most people don't actually want to get their life together. They just want the feeling of having it together. They want clarity without confusion, progress without discomfort, and change without letting go of old habits. But real transformation doesn't happen in a single dramatic moment. It happens when you decide, quietly and honestly, that continuing the way you are is more painful than starting again. Getting your life together doesn't mean fixing everything at once. In fact, that mindset is exactly what keeps most people stuck. When you try to change everything simultaneously, you overwhelm your brain, trigger resistance, and eventually fall back into old patterns. The real shift begins when you simplify the problem and focus on what truly matters right now, not what should matter according to other people. The first step is clarity. If you feel lost, it's usually not because you lack potential, but because your mind is cluttered with expectations, comparisons, unfinished goals, and constant noise. Take a moment to pause and ask yourself a simple question. What is currently draining my energy the most? It might be a habit, a relationship, a routine, or even the way you talk to yourself. You don't need to solve everything, you just need to identify the biggest leak. Once you have clarity, the next step is to regain control over your daily structure. Your life doesn't fall apart in big, dramatic ways. It slowly unravels through small, daily choices. Waking up without a plan, reacting instead of acting, and letting distractions dictate your time may seem harmless, but over time they create chaos. Structure is not about rigidity, it's about freedom. When your days have a basic framework, your mind feels safer and more focused. One of the most powerful things you can do is to start your day with intention instead of reaction. This doesn't require a perfect morning routine or waking up at 5 a.m. It simply means deciding before the day begins what actually matters today. Write down 3 priorities and let everything else be secondary. When you win the morning with clarity, the rest of the day becomes easier to navigate. Another crucial step in getting your life together is managing your energy, not just your time. You can have all the time in the world, but if your energy is low, nothing meaningful will happen. Sleep, nutrition, movement, and rest are not optional luxuries, they are foundational. Many people feel unmotivated not because they lack discipline, but because their body and brain are exhausted. Taking care of your physical state is not selfish, it's strategic. You also need to clean up your environment. Your surroundings shape your behavior more than your intentions ever will. A cluttered space leads to a cluttered mind. Distractions within arm's reach make focus almost impossible. You don't need a perfect aesthetic, but you do need an environment that supports the person you're trying to become, not the habits you're trying to leave behind. At the same time, it's essential to clean up your digital environment. Endless scrolling, constant notifications, and comparison culture quietly destroy your focus and self-worth. If you want your life to feel more together, you must be intentional about what you consume. What you watch, read, and listen to shapes your beliefs about what's possible. Protect your attention like your future depends on it, because it does. Another reason people feel stuck is because they're waiting to feel confident before taking action. But confidence is not a prerequisite for change, it's a byproduct of action. You don't get your life together by feeling ready, you get ready by starting messy, imperfect, and uncertain. Every small action you take builds evidence that you are capable, and that evidence slowly becomes confidence. Consistency beats intensity every single time. You don't need a life overhaul. You need repeatable habits you can sustain on your worst days. Doing something small every day builds trust with yourself, and self-trust is the foundation of a stable life. When you know you can rely on yourself, anxiety decreases and clarity increases. It's also important to let go of the idea that getting your life together means becoming someone else. Growth is not about rejecting who you are, it's about refining it. You don't need to erase your past mistakes, you need to learn from them without letting them define you. Your past does not disqualify you from building a better future, but holding on to it emotionally will slow you down. Another key shift is learning to make decisions based on long-term alignment rather than short-term comfort. Comfort is seductive because it feels safe, but growth feels uncomfortable because it asks you to stretch beyond what you know. Every time you choose growth over comfort, even in small ways, you strengthen your sense of control over your life. You also need to redefine failure. Most people see failure as proof that they're not good enough, when in reality, it's proof that they're trying. Progress is not linear. There will be days where you feel like you're moving backward. That doesn't mean you're failing, it means you're human. What matters is your ability to reset instead of quit. A big part of getting your life together is learning how to talk to yourself. Your internal dialogue shapes your actions more than external circumstances. If you constantly criticize yourself, motivation will always feel forced. Replace harsh self-talk with honest but compassionate accountability. Speak to yourself like someone you actually want to help improve, not someone you're trying to punish. Another practical step is setting boundaries. If everything is urgent, nothing is important. Learn to say no to what drains you so you can say yes to what builds you. Boundaries are not walls, they're filters. They protect your time, energy, and focus so you can invest them where they truly matter. You should also understand that feeling behind in life is incredibly common, especially in a world that constantly highlights other people's success. Comparison creates pressure, and pressure creates paralysis. Everyone has a different timeline, different resources, and different challenges. The only comparison that matters is whether you're making better choices today than you did yesterday. As you start putting the pieces together, don't underestimate the power of momentum. Small wins create emotional energy, and emotional energy fuels action. Celebrate progress even when it feels minor. The goal is not perfection, it's direction. Getting your life together is not a destination you arrive at one day. It's a process you recommit to again and again. There will be moments where things fall apart, and that doesn't mean you failed. It means you're alive, growing, and adapting. Stability is built through flexibility, not control. So, if you're watching this and feeling overwhelmed, remember this: you don't need to have everything figured out. You just need to take the next honest step. Clean up one habit, make one decision aligned with your future self. Show up once more than you want to quit. Starting today doesn't mean starting perfectly. It means starting intentionally. And that single decision to take responsibility for your direction has the power to change everything. Your life doesn't get together all at once. It gets better one choice at a time. Start today.